Somebody can start. I want to welcome to this Take 5 program, Alisa Lask. Alisa Lask is Vice President and General Manager of U.S. Aesthetics for Galderma. And I want to get her insights into the aesthetic market and how and when we will emerge from this COVID crisis and what Galderma is doing to get ready for it. So Alisa, thanks so much for taking a few minutes to talk to me today. We got 5 questions meant to be rapid fire, quick answers, but let me know, in your perspective, how is this whole COVID situation, how has it affected Galderma, and has it changed your company, the way you guys interact within the company and the way you think you interact with us as patients and consumers?
Yeah, well, absolutely. Just like most people out there, our employees are all working from home. And in fact, the US aesthetic sales force is 70% female. So we have a lot of single moms. We have a lot of moms and dads that are now home with kids all day long, and they're trying to do Zoom calls, much like we're doing. And so I think we're really all trying to adjust to this new normal. But the good news for like the Galderma business is that we are made up of 3 business units. So we have the aesthetic business, which is what we're talking about today. But we also have the consumer business, which has our flagship product, Cetaphil. And Cetaphil is doing fantastic during all of this. And then we also have our prescription division. And I guess if any specialty was meant for telemedicine, it's definitely the prescription business, with talking about rosacea and acne and dermatology. And so we've seen that being leveraged quite a bit. And we're a privately held company. We're very well funded. So we're very nimble and able to adapt to situations like this. And, I'm really proud that almost within the first week or 2 of this, we changed some of our manufacturing plants that were making Cetaphil to start making hand sanitizer in France and then later North America, so we could give it away to the frontline healthcare workers.
Wow, that's fantastic. I didn't realize that you guys could do that. Also, it's interesting that you have a prescription portion too. So you're not completely reliant on the aesthetics like some of the other companies are. Have you guys had to lay off or furlough anyone since this started?
No, we've done nothing like that.
Wow, that's really nice to hear. Question number 2. Do you think the aesthetic patients have changed and the way that people are going to be interested in aesthetic medicine? Do you think that's changed?
Yeah, I mean, the good news is aesthetics is absolutely going to rebound. It's very different from '08 or '09. I think aesthetics has normalized so much more. People are willing to talk about it on social media, post about it, or even hearing stories of people doing telemedicine for aesthetics and talking about long-term treatment plans. But I do think the consumer, her concerns may have changed. I think healthcare practices that are doing injectables need to start thinking about how their consumers are going to be worried coming in and looking at changing their protocols. So whether that's their staff wearing masks, whether they have less patients in the office, whether the patient waits in the car until they are ready to have them in the office, I think we're all going to have to start looking like that to ensure that that consumer is very confident coming back in the office when we're ready to open.
Do you think they want aesthetics? Do you think the demand for it's still there? Or do you think people are like, wait, I'm worried about my health. I'm worried about my family. This is the last thing I'm interested in.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a time when we can talk about and think about aesthetics. I think, for many whose families are still going through this, for many whose families are in the hospital, like now is not the time. They're not worried about aesthetics. And then I think there's another segment, maybe areas that are less hit across the country, that they're banging down the door telling their doctor, you're not even going to recognize me because my hair is gray and I have so many wrinkles when I come into the office.
Yeah, I think there's no doubt we're going to have a bolus of patients who are waiting to get back in. But then we may have some others who are going to be like, I don't want to be vain. And we're going to have to work to communicate with them to let them know our offices are safe and they can return and not be concerned.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
I think that's going to be very important.
Question number 3 for you. What is Galderma going to do to stimulate the market for us, for physicians?
Well, I think, we definitely understand this is a difficult time, not just for the practices, for families, for societies, our communities in general. And what I can promise you, Steve, is everyone is working behind the scenes to ensure that we come up with ideas so aesthetics can come out of the gate running when it's appropriate. We've already announced that we've extended our healthcare professional terms by 60 days. So that's 60 days in addition to what your terms were already. We looked at things like promotions and our consumer Aspire loyalty points, and we extended those so people aren't losing things that they earned during this time when they can't go into offices. And then we've had a big demand for training. So we've converted all of our GAIN training platforms to webinars. And last week we held our first webinar and we had 1,800 participants. So I think that really shows that you can only watch so many Netflix. People are home, they're interested in learning. They want to advance their skills. They want to make sure patient outcomes are better when we're coming out of all of this.
What about expired product? What do we do if we have that on the shelves?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think that's something that we're working through, and we're going to try to do the right thing for the consumer and for the healthcare professional as it relates to that.
And certainly when we get back into the office, my staff is going to say, oh, geez, we want to get treated. Maybe there's even something you guys can do for our staff or something to get them more interested. There's lots of ways to get the market stimulated, and I'm sure you're thinking through it.
Yeah, no idea is a bad idea right now. So keep sending the ideas in. I think we're building this plane as it's running right now.
Okay, question number 4. 10 years from now, if you were in business school and you were teaching a class, what do you think the lessons we're going to learn from this time period will be?
There's definitely going to be a lot of business school cases about this. There's so many learnings. It was interesting. I was reading somewhere that we held the World Economic Forum in January, and as they list all the global risks, pandemic wasn't even on the list. In fact, the last time pandemic made the list was 2007. So to me, the business school cases are going to be all about how do we plan for these unanticipated, very rare events and set our communities up and our societies and our businesses to be able to respond in a nimble way. It feels like right now the infrastructure is more fragile than probably it needs to be. So I would anticipate those case studies to really be helping us be more prepared.
Interesting, right? So expect the unexpected, the black swan, like that. We hear that.
Yeah. There's a lot of questions. Is this a true black swan? I've read a couple articles on that.
All right, 5th question and your last question. So hopefully this is not too difficult of a question. I've been kind of easy on you. What do you miss most now that you've been in isolation?
There's a lot of things I think you miss, but for me, it's the spontaneity of when you go to the grocery store or you're at a sporting event and you run into someone and you have an unexpected conversation. It feels like right now our days are so planned and structured. A Zoom call at this time, dinner at this time, go to the grocery store and wear your mask and do all these things. So I guess I'm looking forward to a little of the unexpected and a little more spontaneity.
Yeah. I don't, as much as this has been really effective doing Zoom meetings and talking to people virtually, I really think we lose something about the human interaction. And I look forward to going back to a meeting and saying hello to people and having conversations and, having breakfast with them, coffee or a drink. I think those things are really important to all of us.
Yeah, I think it's hard to stay engaged when you're on a Zoom call, and there's 30 or 40 people on the Zoom call. And and the other things too is so many people are managing things behind the scenes. Like we've had a lot of Zoom calls where kids and dogs are joining. And,
yeah.
It's kind of the new normal, but it makes it hard to concentrate when your kid is screaming in the background or your dogs are barking at the FedEx guy delivering some critical package to your house.
Yeah, I hear you. Maybe we'll come back to you in a week or so or 2 weeks and we could talk a little bit more about some of the countries that are opening up and what lessons you're learning from that we can learn here in the U.S. That'd be really great.
Yeah, it's great. We're leveraging global learning, and then hopefully, and then I talk to you on Thursday. I get a chance to interview on Thursday. So I'll do more than 5 questions, though, Steve.
Okay, I look forward to it. All right, Alisa, thanks so much for being here with us. And
thank you.
Yesterday, I did Instagram Live, and my hair was all over the place. And someone said, "Cut your hair." Onto the mirror,
no.
Yeah,
no, like scissors, literally flat out scissors.
Oh yeah, I just took a scissors out of the kitchen and just went.
Oh my God, that's so.
I am a plastic surgeon,
I gave him the horse. I literally gave him the horse clippers, and I was like, "Here's what you do. You just zip, zip, zip," and it looks terrible. It looks terrible. He did a horrible job. But,
yeah.
What am I gonna do?
Everyone's wearing suits and ties.
Everyone's. I know. I love it. I know. I had to brush my hair today. I'm like, oh, look at that. Put earrings on for you, Steve. I'm going fancy. Super fancy. I still have shorts on, so I don't want to stand up.